Assalamu alaikum. Inshallah you're well, guys. So today I wanted to do a quick video talking about a question I'm often asked on Instagram, which is, will the role of accountants be replaced by technology in the future? And it's a good question. I get it, because you don't want to spend years studying to become a chartered accountant, and then once you get that big pay rise, find out in a few years you're going to be replaced by technology. Now, firstly, it's important to understand the role of accountants. And unfortunately, I think most people think we just crunch numbers, submit tax returns, glorified admin staff, not crucial to the success of a business, all of which could not be further from the truth. Take my role as an example. Although I'm a chartered accountant, I'm not an accountant. I work in internal audit. And as part of my role, I'm less involved in the detail. I attend a lot of meetings. I do a lot of review. I'm involved in influencing and negotiating, a lot of updates. I have to keep up to date on what's going on around the business. So I'm not just there at my desk crunching numbers. There's a lot of focus on management and oversight and using my soft skills. I'll still perform audits, but my role's a lot broader than that. Currently, I'm glad to say I think I'm safe for the next couple of years, right? Technology or robots aren't going to replace me. And the simple reason why is technology doesn't have soft skills. They don't have the ability to attend meetings, to present, to influence, to negotiate. But what they are better than humans at the moment is analyzing data critically. Let me explain this further. So I always talk about how analytics is a growing area within finance, and Alteryx and Power BI are good examples of that. They can be used to analyze and present data. Especially with Alteryx, it can be used to give us a sampling population in audit based on risk criteria we enter. Another example is in the cybersecurity world. So there's a great technology tool, robot, whatever you want to call it, called Varonis. And one use of this tool is that it can be used to scan file contents. So imagine you've got documents, thousands of documents saved onto a drive, and you want to scan each document to identify any confidential information. It will take a human days, possibly weeks, to go in and click each document, whereas Varonis can go in and scan the contents within a few minutes. Similarly, there's other optical character recognition tools. These tools are known as OCR, which can be used to read invoices. They will scan invoices and pick out the data that needs to be entered. That means that they can save hours compared to a human manually entering data onto an invoice entry screen. And the great thing about this technology is that it uses machine learning so that it gets better the more times it reads invoices. So if you give this tool an invoice to read, first time it will probably make a lot of mistakes. But by the 10th or 15th time it's read the same type of invoice, it will be much more accurate. And that's where technology will always be better than humans at analyzing data using criteria, characteristics, or metrics. You've also got RPA, which stands for Robotics Process Automation. So an example of that is Power Automate by Microsoft, and that can be used to automate a lot of admin tasks. Another use of this technology is that it can remove bias. Now, as humans, even when we think we're being random, the truth is we're not. And let's use audit as an example to illustrate this. So you guys know that depending on what's being audited, an auditor will select a sample. They won't test everything because that's not efficient. And when an auditor is selecting that sample manually, we call that haphazard sample selection, not random. Even when they think it's random, we still call it haphazard. And the rationale behind that is that there will always be some thought process involved in a human selecting a sample. It may be that your favorite number is 6. So subconsciously, even though you think you're being random, when you're selecting the sample from an Excel sheet, you select the 6th, 16th, 26th, 36th row, and so on. It could also be that when you open up that spreadsheet, you hold down the down key so that the spreadsheet goes down and you stop at certain intervals to select your sample. However, you're stopping every 5 seconds or so. Again, there's method in your sample selection, so it's not truly random. However, technology, on the other hand, can be random. For example, you could use Excel's random number generator to select your sample, or if you want to test every nth value, you could use a tool called IDEA. But the thing to remember, guys, is that technology has been around for years. Let's take Excel as an example. It's been around for decades and it's been used to analyze and group data. And when it came out, accountants didn't just disappear. It just made their lives a lot easier. And remember, guys, with all of the tools that I've mentioned, once they've analyzed the data and given you the results based on the criteria a human has entered, they can't do anything else. They can't think for themselves. Now it's up to you to take over, interpret what the results mean, and take any further action. So over the next couple of years, the only thing I see changing is that we will use more technology to analyze data to make better decisions. But most importantly, the decision making lies with us and not the technology. It will mean less time being spent on menial tasks and our focus going elsewhere. And guys, give us accountants some credit. Once you become a chartered accountant, you're seen as a top professional. And if we're feeling at risk, that means lots of other industries will face the risk as well. Yes, I do see some administrative type tasks being automated, such as invoice entry, like I mentioned before, but that's not what chartered accountants do. You never say never, but in the short to medium term, I think we're safe. The last thing I want to say, guys, is that those who adapt will survive. Even if we face the risk of redundancy, if you're willing to learn new processes, you're willing to learn new skills, you'll remain relevant and your job won't be under threat. But inshallah, I'll leave it there, guys. I hope I've made it clear. I don't think in the short to medium term, we will face the risk of being made redundant or being replaced by technology. But if you do have any questions or queries on this, please feel free to comment below or message me on Instagram.